if you have the book, although these are very simple questions, you have to, on page 6, naamoy answeranan diring dapita on page 6. This is the last part of what we've discussed last time about microscopy. Remember Robert Hooke, Robert Brown, Anthony van Leeuwenhoek. Okay, hinumdum ba to? Zacharias Janssen, Hans Janssen. Kinsa man to na si Hans o si Zacharias Janssen B? Mangutana ko. Kinsa na sila? Kinsa na sila? Zacharias
Microscope,
Janssen. Okay. They were the ones who made the first crude lang ning ila ha. Crude microscope. Gamay ra ning ilang microscope. And then in 1597, that's in your book, Hans Janssen and Zacharias Janssen made their own version of the microscope by combining two lenses in a tube. So, gamay running ila, very simple. It looks like a short telescope, one tube lang. Okay, that's the work of Hans and Zacharias Janssen. So the first crude microscope was invented by Hans and Zacharias Janssen, and then later on, it was improved by Anthony van Leeuwenhoek. Robert Hooke, ang contribution sa ni Robert Hooke, he was considered as the father of microscopy. Why? Because Robert Hooke was the first man who saw the cell. In what year was that? Wala kay what year diha no? In 16 wala di ay. 16 actually in 1665. Okay. Now, Robert Hooke was considered as the father of microscopy because he was the first man who saw the cell. And then later on, after 166 years, almost 2 centuries, in 1831, another man by the name of Robert, that was Robert Brown, studied the cell that was first seen by Robert Hooke. And this time, he was able to notice that the cell is not empty after all. Because Robert Hooke, uh, the first, shall we say, cell that was seen by Robert Hooke was just empty. Okay, empty lang siya, box-like structures. There's so many box-like structures that make up the cork that was the specimen of Robert Hooke. And then in 1831, when Robert Brown studied these box-like structures as seen by Robert Hooke, he noticed that it was not actually empty. This was the centrally located structure, which he termed as the nucleus. And the cytoplasm that surrounds the nucleus, according to Robert Brown, is not stationary. It is moving around. It is streaming movement of the cytoplasm. And because he was the first one who noticed this, he termed it as the Brownian movement. Have have you heard of this Brownian movement? I will write it here. So from his name, Robert Brown, Brownian movement, the streaming movement of the cytoplasm. Streaming movement. So that's the meaning of the Brownian movement, the streaming movement of the cytoplasm. So the cytoplasm, according to Robert Brown, is not stationary. It's moving around the nucleus, and we call that as the Brownian movement. And then later on, Robert Cook, another man by the name of Robert Cook, he was able to see certain bacteria, especially tuberculosis bacteria, tubercle bacteria. That's why TB or tuberculosis is sometimes called as the Koch's disease from the word Robert Koch. Koch. Robert, I will type it. Okay, some of you don't have the book yet. Robert Koch. That's why TB sometimes TB is sometimes called as Koch's disease. So naagani mo nailhan nga na ay TB sa inyo ha. Ayaw ninyo tawagag TB inalag Koch's disease. Aron di siya kay bawo nga TB ba din. Okay? Koch's disease. Then the first question there on page 6, name the persons behind the invention development of the microscope and identify the contributions of each. So, how to answer this? Name the persons. So, the first person or first persons you're going to name here would be Hans and Zacharias Janssen because they were the ones who first made their own version of the microscope in 1597. Crude. We call that as the crude microscope. The crude microscope. Okay, so that's the first microscope developed by Hans and Zacharias Janssen. And then later on, it was being improved in 1665 by Anthony van Leeuwenhoek na ay daghang spelling sa iyangan Anthony asa naman Anthony Anthony sa inyong libro kay lain sa spelling pero pwede ra sagna. Iya lang apelyido o sa gining iyang spelling. Anthony van Leeuwenhoek. Sa inyong libro, Anthony YH and then what say YIE ang katapusan. It's just the same. What's important is the family name, Anthony van Leeuwenhoek. That's spelled as live or that is pronounced as Leeuwenhoek. Okay, Dutch maker of microscopes. Okay. Then number two question there, how important is the development of the cell theory in the study of biology? So again, talking about cell theory that was being proposed by Matthias Kleiden and Theodore Swan. Since Kleiden was a botanist and Theodore Swan was a zoologist. So they too formulated the cell theory. And how important is the cell theory? Because the cell theory states that all living things are made up of cells and products of cells. All living things, because the cell theory states all living things are made up of cells and they are products of cells. So that's the importance of the development of cell theory in the study of biology, knowing that all of us, we are products of cells from pre-existing cells. When you say pre-existing, meaning there is really a parent to us. Naagitay parent. Although, if we consider the origin of life, mm, when we talked about the origin of life, that's the origin of life could only be discussed in terms of theories. In science, we have hypothesis, we have theories, we have laws. Okay? Tulo na siya kabuok. Theory is a tentative working explanation for a, oh no, hypothesis is a tentative working explanation for a fact. theory is a temporary conclusion which is still subject to change. But a law, when you say law or principle, that's already final. Okay? So theory, no. Hypothesis, theory, and law. Okay? That's in science. Now, cell theory na siya because until now, we really don't know where we come from. Even God in science is only a theory. That's why we have the divine or the special creation theory states that there's a creator. There's a supernatural power whom we call God who made everything on earth or even in the universe, even in the solar system. Okay? So that's in science. God is only a theory. But in philosophy, another branch of study, there in philosophy, God can be proven because one of the principles there, one of the laws there is the principle of cause and effect. Causality, cause and effect. Meaning the cause or no, the effect is not superior to the cause. So meaning God is the cause, creation is the effect. So the effect is not superior to the cause. But in science, God is only a theory. So that's why we have here cell theory. So it's only a theory, it's not yet final. So to advance from theory to law, it needs so many evidences that data gathering must be massive, daghan gid kaayo. Then it's not only a matter of years, a matter of decades, it's a matter of centuries, okay, to prove a theory to become a law. Okay, cell structure and function. Uh, have I discussed with you the parts of the cell last time? Wala pa. Not yet?
Wala, miss.
Wala
Okay,
pa, miss. Wala pa,
thank you.
miss.
Yeah. Thank you for that answer. That's our present discussion now. Hinahinay lang ta ha, kay wa pay ebook ha. Okay. Now, how would you define a cell?
The unit of life.
Okay. Very good. Who was that, Ervin? Mr. Aying. Okay,
Yes,
good.
miss.
Uh, when you say cell, it's the basic unit of life. When you say basic unit, the smallest form of life. Okay. In the organization of living things, the first one there is the cell. Although inside the cell, you can find many organelles, you have even the atoms there, all that, okay, composition. But what is considered as the basic unit of life is the cell. Now, when cells combine, what is formed?
Atoms.
Not yet. Atoms are found inside the cell.
Tissue?
Tissue. Tissue.
Tissue?
Okay. Tissues. Okay, Gadwen. So cells combined with form into tissues in the body. How many types of tissues? How many kinds of tissues are there? Okay.
Four, miss. Four types of tissues.
Oh, who was that? Lawrence?
Yes, miss.
Yes. There are four types of tissues. Can you name these types of tissues, Lawrence?
One is epithelial,
Correct.
and then we have the muscle tissues.
Muscular.
Yes, the nervous tissues, and lastly the connective tissues.
Okay, very good. There are four types of tissues: the epithelial, the connective, the muscular, and the nervous. Later on, when you have the e-book, ha, na mag-discuss ta ana ha, kay inyo nang drawing on, mag-drawing mo ana pod ha, mag-drawing mo ana. Okay, hinahinay lang ta. So, ah, there are two major types of cells. By the way, balik ta sa organizations ha. Cells combined form tissues. Tissues combined, what's formed?
Organs.
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 Organ.
Yeah, organs, Bernadine. So organs, John Eric. So when tissues combine, they form organs. When organs combined, what is formed?
Organ.
Body. Organ system.
System.
Okay. Okay, system, organ systems. Now, if there are four major types of tissues in the body, how many organ systems are there in the body? Be.
We have 11, Miss.
11?
Yes.
Yeah, in our study of basic biology, there are 11. But if you go higher, um, we tend to split certain parts, no? Mo split man ta splitters, na ay lumpers, na ay splitters, no? There are some scientists nga lumpers, ilang-ilamp, no? Mga more or less parehas lang, the same kind. But then there are some scientists nga splitters. When we go higher in study, they tend to split parts so that specialized na ang usa sa usa. Okay, biko no, name some ato ko nung i-name bi sa ha ayaw mo pagkuan manawag ko. Tawag unta mo tagsa-tagsa kung unsa nga mga systems inyong nahibaw-an. Isa. Okay.
Name the systems, Miss.
Names of systems. Miss Bass. Can you name one system, Miss Bass?
Nervous system.
I was about to
Nice.
say that.
Okay. Unsa pa? Lines. Unsa pay lain lines?
You are now unmuted.
Maxim.
Miss, digestive.
Okay,
You
digestive.
are now
Tanaw na
muted.
to ha kung 11 unsay ika-12. Kining La Guardia, Asa Fe. Unsa pa?
Skeletal, Miss.
Okay, skeletal. Pros, Glycel-Ann. What else?
Respiratory, Miss.
Unsa to day?
Respiratory.
Okay, respiratory.
Mhm.
Okay, Daklan, Jessa, Elizabeth. Another one. Miss Daklan. Miss Daklan. Nawa si Miss Daklan? Dara. Yeah. Name.
Circulatory.
Okay, circulatory. Labay. Another one.
Urinary system, Miss.
Urinary system.
Oh,
The other name for that is excretory.
excretory.
Excretory general ha, general. Sige pa. Miss Barte, Tricia Jane. Another one. Miss Barte? Wala si Miss Barte? Tricia Jane. Miss Barte, nawa ka Miss Barte? Kamu mga bata dili magkating classes ha. Ikaw mag-roll call. Arit sa ako magawas ko mag computer sa ako gawas. Mubalik na sag i-roll call na sag nako. Balik kala di nako absent na jud mo ana. Miss Barte, absent na nako si Miss Barte. Okay. Another one, Dayola.
Oh, yes. She's. I found a text on Messenger.
Endocrine, Miss.
Miss Dayola, endocrine.
Miss.
Miss.
Birthday disconnected, Miss. Ni-chat siya sa messenger.
Oh,
Yeah.
disconnected siya. Pabalik ha.
Yes, Miss.
Okay, how many naman? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Miss De Los Santos Kate. Another one. Another one, Miss De Los Santos. Kate. Nawa, sag si Kate? Oh, yes. Yeah.
Cardiovascular, Miss.
Unsa day?
Oh.
Circulatory.
Cardiovascular.
Circulatory na siya.
She said
Cardio-
cardiovascular.
Cardiovascular is circulatory system. It's just the same as circulatory system. Urinary system is just the same as excretory system. Sige pa, unsa pa nga system? Unsa pa?
Endocrine, miss.
Already.
Humana, ni Dayola, Miss Dayola. What else? Sa pa man?
Lymphatic, miss.
Okay, lymphatic.
Lymphatic.
Lymphatic system. Pila na? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Napay tulo. Alivio, Michi, Ryan. What else?
Skeletal, miss.
No,
Finish
it's already
na.
done.
Finish na ni La Guardia.
Miss.
Pat.
Digestive.
Already
Finish
done.
na. Finish na siya kang lines, Maxine.
Nervous, miss. Nervous.
Already
Manasa
done.
kang Miss Bass. Ko karon. Ayaw
think
ka
I
di ako
got
nauna,
one.
Miss Alivio.
I think I got one.
What?
Integumentary.
Okay, that's integumentary.
And
Ko budget, miss.
What is integumentary, Miss Michi? Be. Answer
What's-
ka na. Unsa
how do I spell that?
integumentary be, Miss Michi? Nawa rabay.
Karon
pas ako
nakadungogan. Karon pas ako nakadungogan, miss.
O diin man na nimo.
Oh.
Diin na nimo. Kung karon pa kadungog ana.
Akong gi-search, miss.
O unsa man na siya be? May kay kag mo search niya unsa wa ka kay bawog unsa na.
It protects the body's internal living tissues and
So, in other words, unsa lagi ng integumentary? Ang simple term sa integumentary.
I don't know, miss.
I guess. Yeah, answer.
Miss Kiara, unsa may answer ana?
I
What is
think I think it involves the skin.
Okay,
The
that
skin
is
cell.
the skin, Michi, ha? Imong panit, your skin. So, karon.
I shall answer another one.
Okay, you answer another one, Miss Kiara.
I-
What else?
Reproductive system. Is that the
Okay.
system?
Reproductive, correct.
Thank
Male
you.
and female. 1,
Mhm.
2, 3, 4,
Their
5, 6, 7,
genitals.
8, 9, 10. What else?
One more, guys.
What else? Allah,
Go, guys.
go, go, go.
Go.
Go, go,
Exo.
go. Huh?
What?
Ikso, unsa ikso? Tak,
Oh.
what is ikso? Exoskeleton?
Muscular, miss.
Unsa daw?
Immune, day, miss. Immune.
Immune,
No,
that's lymphatic na siya. Lymphatic.
Muscular,
pa.
miss.
Muscular, miss.
Muscular. Kinsa man tong naka-answer adto?
One
Ako, miss.
Oh.
Hava, Alfie. Okay,
Oh,
muscular.
napay, miss.
I think.
Muscular system, no? Pila, 11 na. I
I
told
think
you.
there's one more as well.
What?
Miss.
What?
Exocrine system.
Exocrine. Wala.
Or
rin
is it
in-
the same?
No.
No?
Ah, shh, uy, Miss Kiara. When
Yes.
you say exocrine,
It's on the outside.
as differentiated from endocrine, you're correct na ay exocrine, but it's not a system.
So it
Gland-
doesn't count.
It's just mga glands ra na sila sa skin, sa integumentary. Okay?
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you, Miss.
Okay. So, Be, what makes it 12? There is one system here that is being split. Gisplit ni siya aron mas specialize diri ang usa kaysa usa. Be, unsa man be?
Reproductive system.
Reproductive system
Aying,
is
aying. Reproductive system.
Reproductive system is doon sa buhok.
Aying, aying.
Oy, bisag female and male maura na reproductive ra
Nice.
gid na. Di
I
na
already-
mao.
I already answered that.
Pero giduhan, miss.
Di na mao. Male and female gid na siya reproductive. Pero that's considered as one. Pero na ay female, na asay male. Be, unsa bi, na gibuak diri nga kuan system.
Lymphatic system, Miss.
No.
Lymphatic system.
Endocrine,
No.
Miss. Endocrine.
No. Sige pa, you guess. Hypothesis.
Skeletal,
Kanang-
miss.
Kinsa to?
Skeletal, miss.
Kinsa lagi to?
Java, miss.
Java. Okay, very good. It's skeletal system. Ngano
Oh,
man?
fun. Because
Ngano
of the
man?
skin.
Eh,
Because of the skin and the bones, miss. Ipa-separate nila, miss.
Skin skin is integumentary na ba ya? Na ba ya specific ang skin na integumentary? Now, actually, ang composition, we go into composition. Now, ang skeletal system, originally, ang skeletal system is made up of the skeleton and the joints. Now, gisplit na siya. Some other scientists, mga specialized na sila, gisplit nila ang skeleton from the joints. Ano man, ang joints, although they are within the skeleton, pero it's for them to move. For movement man ang joints. That's why, ang skeletal, pagbuak niya, skeletal system, ang na-remain nga skeletal, for bones and cartilages. Nag-take down notes mo diha, ha? Kaya tingay magawas na sa inyong exam, ha?
Yes, ma'am.
So, ang skeletal system for bones and cartilages. Pero, ang joints now is called articular system. Akong iko andere, articular. Mulakra. Articular system. Mao ni siyang mga joints. Joints ni siya. I-separate ni siya. Articular system, gi-separate ni siya sa skeletal system, which is purely bones and cartilages. Okay, that's it, ha? So, maunang na 12 na siya. Okay, skeletal, bones and cartilages, articular joints, na siya, movement of joints, nasay movement of muscles. Kay ngano, move sa joints, ang skeletal o ang muscular mo uban raman sad. Okay? So, moyon kang movement of muscles, movement of joints, parehas ra na silang actions. Synergists and antagonists. Later, mag-discuss ta na. Okay. Now, okay, when organ systems combined, what is formed? The 12 organ systems combined, what is formed?
Body.
Human body.
The human body, or we call it as the organism. Organism na siya. So, organism. So, basic unit is the cell. Cells combine tissues. Tissues combine organs. Organs combine systems. And systems combine organisms. Okay, we are all human beings are organisms. To be specific, human beings, because we have 12 organ systems in the body. Okay, now, going back to the cell, there are two major types of cells. What are these? Be?
Prokaryotic and
Prokaryotic and
cells.
eukaryotic.
Altika, mga bata eh. Prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Okay? I think you know the difference. Main difference is when you say eukaryotes, these are the cells with a true nucleus. Ha? Take note, ha? Eukaryotes with a true nucleus, while prokaryotes no true nucleus. No true nucleus. Okay. Now, the divisions or the kingdoms of organisms in the biosphere is also based kingdoms of organisms, they are based on the two major types of cells. I will quote dere ha. How many kingdoms of organisms are there in the biosphere? Bi, mangutana sa ko ninyo. Pila ka kingdoms of organisms sa biosphere?
5, miss.
5, bit na ako. 5 ba akong masuwat dere ha. Ay, yeah. Sus, nag-una-una baya ni siya. Ay, sige na lang. So, unsa na first? Sunod, plant, animal, then we have kingdom Protista. Then we have fungi. Then we have Monera. Then we have Archaebacteria. 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 Okay, nag-una ang animal ha, nag-una-una ang animal. So, or plant, animal, protista, fungi, monera, archaebacteria. But then, kaning archaebacteria god mga 1940s ra ni na kita sa mga scientists, and then it's not easy to gather specimens for archaebacterians because they are found in deep oceans. These are methane producing microorganisms and can be found only on deep oceans. That's why there are no further studies regarding archaebacteria. That's why in some of the books in biology, what you have there, 5 rajud. Plant, animal, protista, fungi, and monera. Now, when you say monera, these are the bacteria, no? Bacteria ni siya. Eubacteria, ginganlag eubacteria, the true bacteria. So monera is the true bacteria or the EU bacteria. Ang archaebacteria gini siya. So no further studies about the archaebacterians. Now, when you say, when you relate prokaryotes and eukaryotes to the classification of organisms in the biosphere. Now, there are take note ha, there are 4 kingdoms that are considered as eukaryotes, meaning with true nucleus. What are these? You have plant, you have animal, you have protista, you have fungi. Timan iha, 4 eukaryotic type of cells. Plant, animal, protista, fungi. But Monera and Archaebacteria, Monera, the eubacteria, and Archaebacteria, these are under the prokaryote. So the prokaryotes without a true nucleus, because they're very simple forms of organisms, microorganisms, while the eukaryotes with a true nucleus and comprised by plant, animal, protista, and fungi. Because in the earliest format of earliest format as to the kingdoms of organisms, early ni siya, original ni siya, duha ra gyud. There were only 2, plant and animal. Okay? Duha ra gyud, plant and animal. And then later on, they found out that, in animal kingdom, if you're into it for biology, you would know that there are 10 major phyla of the animal kingdom, di ba? Unsa may 10 major phyla? Phylum Protozoa, Porifera, Nidaria, unsa pa to? Platelminthes, Nematelminthes, Annelida, Arthropoda, unsa pa to? Nematoda, okay? Echinodermata, Chordata, okay? 10 kabuok. Now, they found out that the first phylum, which is phylum Protozoa, these organisms have both the plant as well as the animal characteristics. That's why there was a confusion among the biologists because botanists would say, oh, these are plants because they have chlorophyll. When you say chlorophyll, the green coloring matter, any organism with chlorophyll is a plant. But at the same time, these animals with chlorophyll, they can move from one place to another because they have locomotory organelles. Once organisms are classified so with locomotory organelles, they can move from place to place, meaning they are animals. That's why a third kingdom, which is kingdom Protista, was established. Okay, actually, the organisms in kingdom Protista, they are more under phylum Protozoa because they have both the plant as well as the animal characteristic. Gika na siya sa animal kingdom ang protista, mga protozoans na sila. Okay? Then ang fourth one, fungi. Kanisang fungi diri ni sa plant kingdom. And because they are plant-like man ni sila, mga plant-like ning mga fungi, but they don't have chlorophyll. Lahi sa ni sila sa protista nga naay chlorophyll pero animals. So kanisag sila plant ni sila but without chlorophyll. That's why they are being separated, gisplit sa na siya. Lamp man unta to, gisplit sa ni siya to give emphasis on this difference between fungi and plants. And then ang fifth one na ang Monera na, ang bacteria. And the sixth one the Archaebacteria. Okay? So again, ang eukaryotes, upat. Plant, animal, protista, and fungi. And then ang prokaryotes, Monera or Eubacteria and the Archaebacteria. You get it, class?
Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
Okay. And now, we go now to cell parts. Again, I let you, I think you're familiar with the parts. We'll just review. Okay, it's just a sort of review. I know you've passed this in your biology subjects also in the junior high school, because this is actually general knowledge about biology, the different types of cells, plant, animal, and then you have the bacterial cell. That's the models I want to see next week in yung assignment. Okay? Now, generally, there are three major parts of the cell. What are these? Unsay three major parts sa cell? Uy, wa na naningog. Ari lang sa
Nucleus,
chat.
miss.
Which one,
Nucleus.
miss?
Okay, nucleus. Pag
Cell
mo
membrane, miss.
nucleus, unsa pa?
Cell membrane, miss.
Cell membrane, cytoplasm.
Cytoplasm and cell membrane or plasma membrane. Okay. So three major parts of the cell. Plasma membrane, the cytoplasm, and then the nucleus. Tulora ha? Tulora. Now, we go first. Naay parts sa kanang bacterial prokaryotic. Kaning prokaryotic cell mo ning bakterya, mo ni siyang bakterya. Naay parts ang prokaryotic cell or bacterial cell. Mao nang naamoy model for bacterial cell, that is prokaryotic cell. Naasay parts ang eukaryotic cell. Kanang eukaryotic cell duha na siya. Animal cell o plant cell. Di ba?
Yes.
Animal cell o plant cell na siya. Lain-lain ang naong anak nila. Kay ang plant cell, aside from the plasma membrane, naapagid na siya, covering na siya, cell wall. Okay? So sa plant cell, na ay plasma membrane, na ay nucleus, na ay cytoplasm, plus naasagid siya cell wall. No? Importante na ha ang difference kay naay cell wall ang plant cell whereas ang animal cell walay cell wall, no?
Plant cell has what, miss?
Kiara,
The
kanang
wall.
the plant cell has the cell wall whereas the animal cell doesn't have the cell wall. Diretso
Thank
sa
you,
plasma
miss.
membrane. Okay. So, arita primero sa bacterial cell or the prokaryotic cell. Sa page 9 na sa inyong libro, kinsay taga Cebu City, if you can go to, ayaw na lang mughuwat sa ebook, dugay kaayo pada ang taga CNA oy og ebook. Pero if you have mga karaan nga mga taga 12 sa una, STEM 12 sa una, na ato sila yung mga libro, panghuwam na lang mo. Kay mangutana gani nganong nang huwam, dugay man mo mga tag. If you can get hold of any old book, okay ra gid kayo na ako ay problema. Okay? If you have friends, na mo'y friends sa STEM 12 sa una, daghan siguro mo friends sa STEM 12 sa una na. Naa wala. Mo may mga friends sa una,
Gamay, miss.
gamay ra. Nya may taga dinha sa inyo no. Di ninyo silingan. Kanang mga silingan ra ninyo ba nga mga kuan? Wala mo yung mga silingan ra nga STEM 12 sa una. Nga maghuwa mo gid. Wala ay maghuwat gid mo sa ebook no. Sige lang, maghuwat na lang mo sa ebook. Siguro maybe this week maabot na ang ebook. Okay, so the first type of cell that's being discussed there, we have the prokaryotic cell. That's the bacterial cell. That's part of your assignment next week. No, absence of a membrane-bound nucleus. That's why I told you prokaryotes gani without a true nucleus. So absence na gud, absence of a membrane-bound nucleus mainly distinguishes prokaryote cells from eukaryotic cells. Also, prokaryotic cells lack membrane-bound organelles. So many organelles in prokaryotes also don't have the membrane. They are naked in the cytoplasm. Okay. The following structures are found in the prokaryotic type of cells. The capsule, you have the capsule, the cell wall, nasa cell wall ha, plasma membrane, the plasmid, which is the genetic material, the nucleoid, the DNA containing region of the cytoplasm, the cytoplasm itself, then you have the ribosomes, nasa ribosomes, site where protein is synthesized. Ribosomes. Where are the ribosomes? Okay. They are naked in the cytoplasm. Then pili or pilus, hard hair-like appendage that functions in adhesion. Pilit man ni sila, pilit, mustik ba? Flagellum facilitates movement of the bacteria. So flagellum gani murag whip-like structure, murag whip niya, and that is for locomotion. That's why kaning bacteria sometimes sa old classification under ni siya sa animal because of the locomotion, locomotory organelle niya. Pero prokaryote man siya without a true nucleus, naadto gini siya sa kingdom Monera. Wala ni siya mopadong sa protista but na Monera because protista they are eukaryotes while bacteria are prokaryotes. Okay, we go now to eukaryotic cell. The three main parts. This is now the animal cell. There are three main parts of the animal cell. we have the cell membrane again, the covering, okay, the cytoplasm, as seen first by Robert Brown, and then the nucleus also as seen first by Robert Brown. Si Robert Brown na ginakakitaan ni tanan. Now, can you name some organelles in the cytoplasm and give the function? Be? Manawag na sad ko, be. Manawag na sad ko. Okay. Shall we call, okay, Gallo, John Eric. Gallo. Mr. Gallo.
Hello, Miss.
Ah.
We have Miss the mitochondria, Miss.
Okay. Correct.
It's the
Function.
powerhouse. It's a powerhouse of the cell.
Okay, powerhouse. When you say powerhouse, what does that mean?
It's where the
Okay, go, go, go.
where the energy where it generates energy, Miss.
Okay, very good. Yeah, correct. Correct mo answer good. Now, actually, ang ginganan siya powerhouse because oxidation takes place there in the mitochondria. As a result of oxidation, energy is released. And that energy in the body is in the form of what? Unsa nga energy na form after ana
ATP.
ATP. Very good, Miss Bas. Unsa may ATP?
Adenosine triphosphate.
Okay, very good. Adenosine triphosphate. So when you say adenosine triphosphate, that's the ultimate source of energy in the body. All the foods we take in, carbohydrates, fats or lipids, proteins, all of these will be transformed into ATP and it will follow a cycle. Naana siya cycle. Ginganla na siya glycolysis kay three stages man na siya ang conversion sa food. Kay ang carbohydrates, it has its own metabolic pathway. Ang proteins na asad, ang fats na asad. Okay? They have their own metabolic pathway. So, ang first phase would be glycolysis. That's the longest phase. Followed by the Krebs cycle, followed by the oxidative phosphorylation, which occurs now, ang Krebs cycle o oxidative phosphorylation, sometimes called electron transport system, they are inside the mitochondria. Anha na diha. Ang glycolysis ari sa cytoplasm, pero the Krebs cycle adto na sa matrix of the mitochondria, and then ang electron transport system will penetrate pagyud sa fold sa mitochondria called the cristae. Adto na sa didto. Okay? Ang resulta na production of ATP. Ato na i-discuss later. What else? Gusto Theophilus. Mr. Theophilus.
Yes, Miss.
Yeah. Other organelle.
Other organelles, Miss. Kuan, Miss. Mitochondria, Miss.
That's done.
How about kuan, Miss?
Go.
Endoplasmic reticulum, Miss.
Okay. Endoplasmic reticulum.
Yes,
There are
miss.
two types of endoplasmic reticulum. What are these?
Kuan,
Mr.
Miss. Lipid and protein synthesis, Miss. Di na mo, Miss.
I'm asking of the two types of endoplasmic reticulum.
Wait sa Miss. I'll recall sa Miss.
Sige na. Isay kahibaw.
SER, Miss, o SER, Miss? Smooth and rough?
Oh, the rough, the smooth ER and the rough ER. The rough ER contains the ribosomes, the granules, while the smooth ER, they don't have the ribosomes in them. And then, ang ribosomes that are found in the rough ER is responsible for moto imong giingon, protein synthesis, while the smooth ER without the ribosomes, they are responsible for lipid synthesis. Mao na tong imong sumpay. Pero my question for you was the two types of ER. Okay? Mr. Chipelos? What else? What other organelles in the cytoplasm? Ah, Genovi, Rhys Eisel. Genovi. Nawa si Genovi.
Yes,
Ah,
miss. Yes,
yeah.
miss.
Oh, other organelle in the cytoplasm.
Uh, sorry.
Manang mitochondria, ER, what else?
Um, sin-
Jaman, Riz. Wala gyud. Novi ha, wala ka ka-answer. Novi. You, Martina.
Yes, miss.
Yeah. May.
Golgi apparatus.
O Golgi or Golgi apparatus. Function.
It manufactures
Manufacturers.
the particles throughout the cell, and they
Unsa to?
also store and pack.
Unsa to? Unsa to? Wa may i-manufacture ang Golgi dai.
They store and transport particles.
Okay. In other words, they are the secretory organelles. Secretory. Or
miss,
these
miss,
are the packaging units of the cell.
miss,
Whatever.
disconnected yung miss.
Oh, sige.
Sorry,
I'll be
sorry,
back
miss.
to you,
Okay,
Mr.
miss.
Rice.
Sorry, miss.
Okay?
Sorry, miss. Sorry.
Okay,
Yun
I'll be
miss.
back. I'll be back later on. Okay, I'm still discussing. Okay, so when you say Golgi or Golgi apparatus, now these are the packaging units of the cell, the secretory organelles in the cytoplasm. So whatever substances that are being produced inside the cell, these are the ones that will send the substances out of the cell to target areas of the body. So when you say secretory, it's related to in our body the system which is the endocrine. Okay, endocrine system because they produce certain substances, especially the hormones, and they are the ones to package. They're the ones to send the substances that are being produced inside to the outside of the cell. Muna siyang packaging units of the cell. Okay, what else? Isa pa. As I've said, hinay lang sa kagamay ha, kay patay libro. Once natay libro, dritso-dritso na ta ha. Mo fast na ko ha, basta na natay libro. Karon hinay lang sa. What else?
Centrosomes.
Centrosomes. Yeah. Unsay function ana race cell centrosome? Correct. Pero is made up of two parts ang centrosome, centrioles and centrosphere or the microfilaments, the microtubules. Ang centrioles will be the ones to become the pulse. Ang centrioles mo'y pulse ha. Akong i-type dire ha. Centrioles will become the pulse. And then kuan ang microfilaments Microfilaments. Will become the spindle fibers. Then, ang microtubules mao nay nagda sa shape sa cell. Okay. Now, by the way, okay, murag 75 minutes ang atong kuan. Okay, ana ra sa tako to kay wa patay libro ha. Slowly lang sa taron kay wa patay libro. I'll have the roll call again this time. Abelia, naapas Abelia?
Yes, miss.
Alba.
Yes,
Alba.
miss.
Yeah. Alivio.
Yes, miss.
Aying, Irvin.
Present.
Barte.
Here, miss.
Bas. Wala na si Bas? Bastasa.
Present, miss.
Wala si Basa. Wala na si Basa. Bihag.
I miss
Daklan. Si Bas na nas
Yes,
ba?
miss.
Yeah,
Si,
Miss Bus.
si Bihag. Nas Bihag. Bihag. Pero lang mawa si Bihag. Oy, Nicole.
She's actually Miss. In the chat. Look at the chat, Miss.
Oh,
She's present.
kaganihara man ni siya. Kaganihara man ning Bihag. Nicole. Karon, nawa naman siya lagi. Nawa na sa lagi si Bihag.
You are now unmuted.
Bago
Ganihara
naman,
na.
Miss, 417, gisan yung message, Miss.
417. Oh.
You are now muted.
Asa mas bihag be? Nara di ay, I'm here, miss. Sige. Okay. Naunsa man ang imong microphone diha, day? Miss Nicole. Di na mo function. Daklan. Daklan. Naas Daklan.
Yes, miss.
Dalanon.
Yes, miss. Yes,
Datoy.
miss.
Still present, miss.
Dayola.
Present, miss.
Deliera.
Present, miss.
De Los Santos. Oy, De Los Santos, Kate.
Present, miss.
De Los Trico.
Present, miss.
De Rota.
Present, miss.
Galo, John Eric.
Present, miss.
Hinove, Riz Aizel. Gozo, Chofilos.
Still here, miss.
Present, Hinobe, miss. Yan na yun.
Oh, yeah. Gutierrez, Gadwin.
We're still here, Miss. Present.
It, Hans Vincent.
Present, Miss.
Okay. Hamisola, Maria Wivina.
Here, miss.
Java, Alfivi.
Present, miss.
Kawamora, Kiara.
Present, Miss.
Kim, Hisu.
Present, miss.
Bruce, Joaquin.
Present, Miss. Present.
Boris, Lawrence.
Present, Miss.
La Guardia,
Present,
Isa.
miss.
Labay, Jenia May.
Present, miss.
Labiaga, Bea Antonia.
Present, miss.
Diin man kaganiha, Miss Labiaga, pag-start.
I
Wala
couldn't
ka
log
kasama
in
yun?
my... Wala
Oh.
dayon.
Okay. Lines, Maxim,
You are now
Jessie.
unmuted.
Narami, here, Miss.
Okay. Majos.
You are now muted.
Present,
Wilson.
miss.
Perez,
Present, miss.
Maria Nicole.
Present, miss.
Pongos, Tasha, Marie,
Present, miss.
Ross, Glisel, Ann.
Present, miss.
Soon, Kay, Nicole.
Present, miss.
You, Martina May.
Present, miss.
Lim Chising, Jonathan, Brian.
Present, Miss.
And Javier, Eliza, Nicole.
Present, Miss.
Okay, so next meeting, our discussion would be the continuation of the organelles that are found in the cytoplasm. Okay? Okay, class? No other
Okay,
concerns?
miss.
No concerns?
Yes. No, no more, miss.
Okay, so shall we leave the meeting or shall we end the meeting? Thank you. See you Thursday.
I have concern, miss, about the model.
Yeah, that will be Thursday next week.
No, kanang pan, miss. Ang pag-present na mo sa model kay it's a video.
Yeah, video. And then, tan-awon sad nako kung kinsay nagbuhat sa inyong kada grupo, ipakita sa diri live ha, ipakita diri sa screen live. Mauni siyang among model. Pero you can present that sa video, pero at the end of the video, i-present na live diri sa ako sa inyo diha nga screen. Okay?
Yes, miss.
Okay, so other concerns, wala na. Bye-bye, class.
Bye, miss.
You are now
Bye.
Bye, miss. Take care, miss.
Bye, miss.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you, miss.